Hello, my name's Judith Barr. I'm a depth psychotherapist and I'm author of a book called Power Abused, Power Healed. I help people heal their issues and their wounds to the core, to the very root. I also help people connect the dots between their issues, their wounds, their healing, and the issues, wounds, and healing of our world. There's a lot coming up in our world today, a lot that needs healing, a lot that's calling for healing. I've been writing about this for years, and now I'm feeling called to also bring some of my work, some of my message, some of my help for healing to YouTube also, so I can reach those of you who really long to participate in the healing of the violence in our world. Today I'm going to read an article I've written about the violence in our world. I hope you will not let my reading distract you. I want to be very careful, especially in these times, especially on such a delicate issue, to use just the right words that we all need to hear. So take a deep breath and I'll dive in. The tragedy in Aurora, Colorado is heartbreaking. The cauldron of feelings it must have stirred up for those in the theater, for those who were left grieving, and for all of us who were watching and listening, also heartbreaking. But the cauldron of feelings in the ones who commit the acts of violence and destruction also need to be considered too. We need to let the feelings in those people break our hearts also. In case you're concerned, I'm not making excuses for those who are violent and destructive. I'm not letting them off the hook. I'm still holding them accountable. I hope you will open your mind and your heart to the meaning of my words so you can see and feel my efforts to help us go beneath the places we've gone to look at what's causing the violence and to help heal it. How many times are we going to have violent, destructive attacks in our country and in our world and not look for the deepest root? How many times are we going to just look at why the shooter or the bomber did what he or she did? How many times are we only going to look at the surface, computer games, television shows, movies, and other superficial things as possible causes? How many times are we going to call the people bad, and that's it? How many times are we going to split hairs about who is mentally ill and who's just looking for revenge? Well, revenge is a sign of a wound that has not yet been healed. Any person, male or female, who commits an act of violence and destruction is deeply wounded and needs help. No one is born destructive. Nobody is born violent, not even Adolf Hitler. We are born and wounded by our families, by our communities, and by our society. We all need to look at this, and we all need to understand this. We are wounded, for example, when people in our lives hurt us, scare us, neglect us, abandon us, abuse us, physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We are wounded when people are so unaware of their own wounds that they harm us overtly and subtly because of their lack of awareness and because of their lack of self-healing. We all need to look at this. We all need to understand this. Any person who commits an act of violence and destruction is deeply wounded and needs help. He needs help with feelings he has never built the capacity to feel. He needs help with feelings that he has no idea what to do with. And how is he going to get that help in a family where his parents haven't built the capacity to feel and don't know what to do with their feelings because they haven't had the help either? And how is he going to get the help in a society that doesn't have the capacity to feel and doesn't know what to do with its feelings? A society, in fact, that is complicit in numbing feelings, burying feelings, moving away from feelings as fast as possible. A society, for example, that supports taking medication to get rid of the feelings, instead of finding the way to feel the feelings, build the capacity to feel the feelings, and find the root of the feelings, find what the source of the feelings is, so that it can be resolved. A society that allows its insurance companies to limit the kinds of therapy and the numbers of sessions for someone to do their healing. Limits that are quite honestly bizarre in terms of the possibility of real healing. And therapies that can only possibly, perhaps, maybe help the symptoms temporarily, like Band-Aids, and never truly resolve the wound and its inner and outer consequences. How is he going to get that help in a society that calls certain people mentally ill and absolutely refuses to look at the wounding that exists in us all, individually and in our society? If we want this violence to stop, we're going to need to find a way to look at our own wounding, individual and communal, to build our capacity to feel our feelings healthily, to tell which feelings we need to safely explore and which feelings are safe for us to act on safely. And we need to do the deep inner work to heal our wounds, the wounds that caused our suffering in the first place, the wounds that continue to cause us suffering, and the wounds that will continue to cause us suffering, needless suffering, until we finally heal them. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye for now.